Hi everyone, my name is Andreas Steinross and I'm here to promote critical thinking. If we all properly learn how to think for ourselves, if we all learn how to use to the best of our abilities, our integrity, our morals, our dignity, our authenticity, our logic, our creativity, and our imagination, well, these are all huge, gigantic tools for self-empowerment. And self-empowerment means being able to make your dreams come true. And I was taught a long time ago to dream big, to question everything, especially authority. We're here on this planet to co-create our own reality, to make our own show, and we're here to become the best humanitarians that we can. I would now like to paraphrase Spectral Star, who used to have a radio show on CJLY Radio, and you can catch any of his previous shows at cjlyradio.net. To paraphrase Spectral Star, we are in a constant state of learning, more importantly in a state of learning how to make better choices. For that is truly the only thing we got. Do I choose to say yes? Or do I choose to say no? Honor the fact that we're all living together on this planet and the fact that we can help each other to find our happiness. We are here as eternal spirits living in a body. We are here to express ourselves and experience life through feeling our emotions and our nervous systems. This is our connection to the unified field of awareness. We are here to meet our own emotional needs and the emotional needs of others. Traumas come up to come out. Know thyself. Be thyself, wherever you may find yourself. It's like a healing crisis. It can look a lot worse before it gets better. But why is it getting better? Because we're looking at what is not working. The only mistake is not learning a lesson and applying something better. What would love and overall well-being do with me, through me, and as me now? When we face things that come up, we can transform them. Compassion is the highest wisdom. Stop living the past and transfer the patterns. So as one thinks, so does one act. So does one feel, so does one react. As within, so without. As above, so below. As you want, so you go. Now is a good time for clearing and reaffirmations. The more conscious we are of it, the more easily it will occur. Part of our growth is to clear past hurts and traumas and to move on. One of the most empowering forms of clearing is the universal clearing formula of the 4 A's. Awareness, acceptance, apology, and appreciation. And ultimately forgiveness. When we factor this with compassion and empathy, it makes it rather easy. And when we factor in passion and gratitude, then miraculous things begin to happen all on their own. Thank God I have learned these lessons and will be less prone to continue these detrimental and abusive patterns. Life is the school and love is the lesson. And the paraphrase. Thank you very much, Spectral Star, for your wonderful insights to life. I would now like to paraphrase Teal Swan and Ralph Smart. Self-love is the root from which everything grows. The lack of self-love is the root from which all problems on this planet occur. Every violent person, every rapist, every killer, every warmonger has pain and suffering in their hearts. You can't find love from anybody else. It all comes from loving yourself. So learn how to love yourself 100%. You can't share love with anybody if you don't have any love for yourself. The only true indication of having anything is by giving it away, and you can't give anything away if there's nothing to give. Know thyself. Nobody is holding us back but ourselves. Self-love unleashes the power from within. We are here to become the greatest versions of ourselves. Take responsibility and try not to see yourself as a victim. We must take responsibilities in creating our own reality. If we take responsibilities in creating our own reality from past hurts, misfortunes, and undesirable situations, then we can take responsibility from this point forth. This is what the Buddha was trying to teach us. The enlightenment is not out there, but is rather within you. This is the essence of who we are. All you need to do is to see this. You never have to listen to anyone else. The only thing that other people can do is to help you find that and to connect with that which is already inside of you. And that is very elegantly put, Teal and Ralph. Thank you. On with your paraphrase. Your external reality is a reflection of that very thought. Our thoughts are everything. Every single thought is a co-creation of our reality. And I would like to add to that, be very conscious of your thoughts. Quoting Helen Schumann, quote, "Whatever you wish for your brothers and sisters is actually what you are wishing for yourself." This gets us back to the concept of oneness, end quote. Continuing on with Teal and Ralph's story, to paraphrase them. If there is fear, anger, hatred, and doubt in this world, then there is still fear, anger, hatred, and doubt within ourselves. And there is no other answer than to eradicate fear, anger, hatred, and doubt from within ourselves. We need to change our thoughts to that of love, compassion, empathy, kindness, appreciation, and gratitude. This will have a great effect on everyone else. This all starts with consciousness. If we can change our minds, change our thoughts, then we can change our perspective on life. Scarcity is an illusion created by someone. This illusion creates the dog-eat-dog mentality, us fighting amongst ourselves, and the gross levels of competition between ourselves. This distracts us into believing that we are separate. This illusion of separation is our greatest enemy. This illusion of separation is preventing us from evolving as the living beings that we are capable of doing. We are one. We are all connected. End of paraphrase. Thank you very much, Teal Swan and Ralph Smart, for your wonderful insights to life. I would now like to quote excerpts from Tom Shadyack's movie, I Am. Quote, "What is humankind's basic nature? Are we greedy, competitive, aggressive, violent creatures causing havoc on this planet? Or are we ones of love, compassion, empathy, kindness, gratitude, and appreciation? All life is our biological kin. The vast majority of our genes are identical to all living entities on Earth. They are our relatives. And we should be grateful and celebrate the fact that they are our relatives. Human emotions create a very strong energetic field and is easily felt by everyone present within that field. Our emotions determine our heart's performance. The heart sends 5,000 times more information to the brain than the brain sends back to the heart. Our hearts beat a different measure when we have love, compassion, and kindness, which are our optimum states. Our hearts send a different message to the brain when we have fear, anger, hatred, and doubt within us. We can't think clearly, and this is why anger makes us stupid. The heart is the primary access point to spirituality, or as Spectral Star put it, quote, "The mind is a vehicle, but the heart is the driver. And please pay very close attention to your driving skills. If there's a very steep cliff coming up straight ahead of you, well, now would be a good time to turn the vehicle in an opposite direction." End quote. Back to Tom's story. The basis for cooperation and democracy is everywhere in Mother Nature. And democracy, Mother Nature abides by one basic universal law, and that is to never take more than it needs. But we as humans have completely thrown that law right out the door. To cooperate or to dominate, to have democracy or to have a dictatorship. We should have cooperation as our highest social ideal, not competition. In the science realm, there are revelations about our connectedness. Einstein and Rosen did research into this, and they called it the spooky action at a distance. If you took two electrons from the same particle and placed them apart at whatever distance, stopped one of the electrons and spin it in the opposite direction, then the second electron would do the exact same thing at the exact same time without any time lag between the two, no matter what the distance was between the two of them. Dr. Henry Staff said that this is the most profound discovery in physics, confirming the mystical idea that we are not separate and that we're all connected everywhere all the time. End quote. Thank you very much, Tom Shadyac, for your wonderful movie, I Am. Quoting John Rappaport, about 106,000 people in the USA die per year from prescription drugs. These drugs are FDA approved. How are these drugs approved? Clinical trials are required. Reports of these trials are written. The studies are published in peer-reviewed medical journals. The studies are the science. If millions of people per decade are being killed by these drugs, then a huge number of published studies proclaiming that these drugs are safe are sheer fraud. A statement from Marcia Angel, MD, former editor of the New England Journal of Medicine. Quote, "It is simply no longer possible to believe much of clinical research that is published or to rely on the judgment of trusted physicians or authoritative medical guidelines. I take no pleasure in this conclusion, which I reached slowly and reluctantly over my 2 decades as editor of the New England Journal of Medicine." Marcia Angel, MD, The New York Review of Books, January 15th, 2009. Drug companies and doctors, a story of corruption. All right, back to John's story. The medical cartel rests on cataclysmic fraud and science fraud. Why hasn't the mainstream media spoken of this? The mainstream media outlets are an intrinsic part that protects and sustains the crimes and criminals. It isn't just the drug advertising profits that keep leading newspapers and television networks silent. It's collusion to protect a reverend institution, the medical system. Where has the Department of Justice been all these years? Is there any way that 1 million deaths per decade can be excused? Is there any way the FDA and drug companies can float safely in the upper atmosphere of privilege while the concept of justice retains any meaning? Where are the criminal prosecutions? Meanwhile, the FDA pursues an agenda of attacking nutritional supplements, and the latest federal regulations classify these supplements as potentially dangerous, despite the fact that supplements have a safety record that is astonishing. End quote. Thank you very much, John Rappaport, for your story. I would now like to quote Mike Adams, the health ranger, on this subject. Quote, "Prescription drugs are the 4th leading cause of death in the USA. This stat is from the FDA and their own website. Understand this very clearly. No medical drug in America can be released for public use until the FDA says it's safe. The FDA makes every decision on every drug. The buck stops there. The FDA webpage also states that there are 2 million serious adverse reactions from ingestion of medical drugs. Serious means strokes, heart attacks, and neurological damage." End quote. Thank you very much, Mike Adams, for your story. So you see, folks, it's the money system that is responsible for creating all this havoc in our medical system. So according to John and Mike's story, if millions and millions of people are dying and having adverse reactions to these FDA-approved prescription drugs, then we have a very serious problem on our hands, folks. And there are absolutely no excuses whatsoever for denying any of this. Has the mainstream medical community forgotten how to care for the innocent? This is not acceptable, and we should all be asking the question, why do we allow this to happen? Here is a quote from Dr. Mercola's website. Quote, "There is a risk of side effects every time you take a prescription drug. No one, except for those who intentionally overdose, expect these medications to kill them. But they can do just that, and it happens far more often than you might think." In a study recently released by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administrations, officials emphasized that people should not assume there's no risk in prescription medicines. The truth is, the only way to avoid all risk, including death from prescription drugs, is not to take them at all. It is your body, not your doctor's and not your pharmacist's. So it's up to you to make the decision of what drugs to take, if any. Be sure you are aware of the risks of any medications prescribed to you and weigh them against the possible benefit. Then you can make a well-informed decision of whether it's a risk you're willing to take. Of course, of paramount importance is also taking control of your health so you can stay well naturally without the use of drugs or even frequent conventional medical care. If you adhere to a healthy lifestyle, you most likely will never need medications in the first place. This includes proper food choices, comprehensive exercise programs, stress reduction and positive thought, proper sun exposure to optimize vitamin D, take high-quality animal-based omega-3 fats. Many experts believe that this is likely the predominant reason why the Japanese are the longest-lived race on the planet. Avoid as many chemical toxins and pollutants as possible." End quote. Thank you very, very much, Dr. Mercola, for your excellent words of wisdom. My parents were old school. My father was born in 1915 and my mother was born in 1918. My parents taught me how to survive more above anything else. And they also raised me using pretty much only holistic and naturopathic medicines. And to this day, I still only use naturopathic and holistic healing methods. And from my own experiences using this holistic healing, I can honestly say, yes, folks, it actually works. I personally believe that the mind has a major role in our healing process. If you mind, then yes, it matters. And to aid the holistic healing, we must believe that it actually works. The higher expectations we have of it working, the more effective the healing process will work. Let's focus on the things that we do want in our lives rather than the things that we don't want in our lives. If you strongly believe that chemtrails, GMO foods, vaccines, and other pharmaceuticals are extremely harmful to you, then they probably will be harmful to you. And if you focus enough on this harm, then that's what you will probably be attracting more of into your life. That doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. Why are people so afraid of the unknown? I don't understand this. I just don't get it. Ever since I've been a young kid, I can remember loving the unknown. It's always excited me, going on a new adventure. And being excited about the unknown has greatly helped me to grasp the idea of having no fear over death. Yes, people in charge of this planet want to keep us asleep, lethargic and passive with all these poisons that they are constantly bombarding us with. But from my own past experiences, through my journey in life, I now have learned, and I now have the attitude towards these poisons, yeah, I can handle it. Yes, there is no denying that people are getting sick and dying from these poisons. But we also need to ask, where are these people in their lives? At what point are they in their own evolution? Don't you think that people's thoughts, attitudes, and ideals have something to do with their well-being? Different things work differently for different people. One person's poison is another person's medicine. Not everyone who chain smokes cigarettes gets cancer or even gets sick from it. Not everyone who ingests potentially harmful drugs dies from them or even gets sick from them. I believe that intuitively we all know what's best for us. We need to learn to work with what we got and to figure out what works for us and what doesn't work for us. I personally believe that we have the capabilities to heal ourselves of anything. I am suggesting that we become our own doctors. To learn how to listen to what our bodies and our souls are trying to teach us. To try to encompass as much positive energy as possible. Try to surround yourself with as many people as possible who are actually supporting your well-being. And don't despair if you don't get it right away. It's like everything in life. We have to put in our time to get good at things, and I've been practicing holistic healing my entire life, and I still have an infinite amount of wisdom to learn about it. Don't ever be afraid to ask for any kind of help or guidance along your healing path. By constantly focusing on the detrimental and bad things in our lives, we're attracting that into our lives and are perpetuating fear, anger, hatred, and doubt, which in turn is keeping us asleep. This also keeps us in the victim mentality, which is also further keeping us asleep. The simplest way I can explain this is try not to focus on what you don't like or don't want out of life, but rather the things that you do love in life and the things that you do want out of life. Focus on the positive and just go for it. At the same time, don't bury your head in the sand and forget your troubles. Ignoring them won't make them go away. You have to deal with your problems as they come and face your shadow sides. Awareness is great. Exposing all the corruption is great. We need to fully understand the problem before we can come up with some kind of solutions. By removing fear, anger, hatred, and doubt from our lives, then these solutions will come to us so much easier. Some people seem to be stuck in wanting to tell us all the time how everything is so bad for us. All this is really doing is keeping them in sleepy time. Yes, you have gone into great detail about all the problems here on this planet, and thank you for your efforts, but what's next? Here's a suggestion. How about you come up with some new and improved ideas? How about you come up with some solutions to these problems? How about you take these new ideas and with your unique internal individual powers and through your actions, help to manifest these ideas into reality? Yes, we can co-create our reality through intelligent fearlessness. But part of the larger global problem is that we are still in denial. By being in denial and hypnotically going about our business, by just standing around and letting this current system, this current money system happen, well, we are the problem. We are all insane to allow this system to happen. Now is the time to face the music. Now is the time more than ever to participate and to become an active member of society. We need everyone's individual internal powers to unite in an effort to shift into a new and improved paradigm. Here's a question you might like to ask yourself. Do I agree with the way the planet is operating? Do I agree with the way governments, bankers, and the elitists are operating our planet? If you answered no, then the next question to ask is, how can I exercise my own unique individual powers to contribute to the whole, to make a difference in this world? Remember, we are highly evolved beings. We are creative and imaginative beings. We are self-empowered and capable of thinking for ourselves and to make choices for ourselves. We are unique individuals and are also a part of the whole. The only thing that I know that is definite, the only thing that I know that is for sure, is the fact that I don't know. I really honestly don't know how anything in the universe or any of the spirituality actually works, but it sure is fun thinking about it. And here's one last quote from Ralph Smart. We are here to become the greatest versions of ourselves. End quote. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Ciao for now, my brothers and sisters. Peace be with us all. V for victory. In solidarity. United we stand and together we rise.